Hi there, my name is Aria and welcome to this channel. Today's topic is covering the first week of the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I chose this book because it's all about healing your creative self and basically unearthing all of the different wounds you may have around creativity and opening yourself up so you can be the most creative version that you can be. And whether or not you consider yourself a creative or not, this book will be great for you. And one of the things that actually drew me to this book was I had a chance to look at all of the different videos that Dochi made, and I was inspired. And I've always been drawn to this book, but that was really the catalyst that pulled me towards finally taking the chance to read it. That and that feeling that in my own creativity, there's been a bit of a block and procrastination. So I thought, you know what? Why not go into it? So let's begin this week. And first of all, there are different chapters before week one, covering the morning pages, which is you going in and writing 3 pages of whatever comes to mind and emptying everything out. And then there's also taking yourself out on an artist date. And whether that's sitting and watching 2 hours of your favorite TV show or going to a museum, doing something that really feeds your inner artist. And your artist basically is a little kid on the inside that just wants to create and explore and go on an adventure and do things. So that's what that's all about. So I took quite a few notes, and I will share some things with you that I really found important this week. The first part is all about shadow artists, and one of the quotes that really stood out to me is that too intimidated to become artists themselves, very often too low in self-worth to even recognize that they have an artistic dream, these people become shadow artists themselves. And shadow artists are basically people, for example, that there's some people that really love editing, and then there are those that are secretly writers, but because they feel that they themselves don't have the capability to be a writer, they become an editor instead. So that's kind of an example of what a shadow artist is. And I know in the past I've done that a bit, where I have a background actually in creative writing, and a lot of times instead of opting to go in and do creative work, I've held roles being an editor instead. And oh my goodness, thinking that, well, as long as I'm close to the fire. But it's not really the same, is it? Being close, but not actually being the source of the fire. Just because you can feel the warmth from it, that doesn't mean that you're the one that's creating that warmth. And that's something that, reading the first chapter of this book, I feel that it really resonated with me. And also, another topic that resonates with me is the fact that it says very often audacity, not talent, makes one person an artist and another a shadow artist, hiding in the shadows, afraid to step out and expose the dream to the light, fearful that it will disintegrate to the touch. And that hit me right there in the heart, where I felt like, ooh, that's me a little bit. Where I feel like maybe if I just kind of, I feel like, well, I have talent, but do I have talent? And it's oftentimes where I go and I see a lot of different people and they're performing and they're out there and they're shining brightly. And I'm thinking, my goodness, I could shine just as bright. But then at the same time, there's this bit of a block holding you back. And really, it's the people that have the audacity to put themselves out there, the people that are brave enough to expose themselves and be vulnerable. Those are the people that end up having their talent, whether it is something that others consider great or not so great or horrible. At the end of the day, they're out there and they're expressing themselves. So it's all about not being afraid to shine your light in this world, and really believing that you are important enough and your talent is sacred enough for you to explore that lane and for you to post things and do things that feed that inner creative. So that's one of the reasons really why I made this video. So besides that, there are a few other quotes in here that made me go, oh my gosh, wow, 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 wow. Like, for example, judging your early artistic efforts is artist abuse. So that's one of the reasons why when making this video, I'm not going to go and record over and over and over again and think, oh, should I change this? Should I change that? Nope, I'm going for, this is the first time I'm recording and I'm publishing it. Otherwise, sometimes I can definitely be the type that's a perfectionist. So I'll stop this and then re-record and re-record and re-record, and then it gets to the point where you never end up posting, and that's not what we want, is it? By the way, this video is a bit of me kind of talking to my future self, because it's something that I want my future self to look back on and say, wow, it's amazing how I've improved. But then at the same time, if I can help anyone to help express themselves and help shine their light, I want to do that as well. I want to do that to my audience, no matter how huge or small, well, right now it's very small, no matter how huge or small the audience may be, whoever it reaches, I want to be able to reach them, and I hopefully it resonates a bit with them. So let's see. Here's another one. Remember that in order to recover as an artist, you must be willing to be a bad artist. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. By being willing to be a bad artist, you have a chance to be an artist and then eventually become a very good one. So that's something that also really stood out to me, because I've always been the type where I feel like I want to do the thing once. And when I do the thing once, it needs to be amazing. It needs to already be a fully finished product. It needs to be something that can already be shown to the world and is great and is wonderful. Basically, having that mentality of being that A+ student in school and constantly grinding and constantly studying, thinking that, well, if I need to be perfect all the time. And that's not really what art's about. I mean, perfection is subjective, to be honest with you. So it's all about expressing yourself. It really is. It's all about expressing yourself. So another quote in here that really stood out to me is, affirmations are like prescriptions for certain aspects of yourself you want to change. And on my channel, I do have a lot of affirmation videos, because I think that that is a little bit of positivity. If someone can go and say those affirmations out loud, then that is instant resonating. That's something that's going to instantly resonate. And even if you're saying those affirmations and you might not fully believe them yourself, by you saying them out loud, your subconscious is shifting. Something is shifting on the inside. So that is huge to me. So I was looking at the different creative affirmations, and a few that really stood out to me. I'll give you my three favorites. Okay? So my three favorites are, my dreams come from God, and God has the power to accomplish them, because that basically takes a huge burden off of me, where I feel like, okay, I'm doing this alone, everything's alone, and well, can I do it? Can I not do it? That's something that really helps to take that burden off and gives me the freedom to explore my creativity. And another one is, I am allowed to nurture my artist. So basically, I'm allowed to nurture my inner artist, because oftentimes we're so busy trying to help other people that we don't help ourselves. But at the end of the day, you know, we can't be going around setting ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. We need to make sure that we're okay and that we're nice and nourished. And another one that I really like is that oh wait, hold on, I might be tied. Okay, how about this one? There is a divine plan of goodness for my work. I believe that everyone is an artist in some shape or form, and we're meant to heal the world in some way. And it is something divine and innate given to us that we need to go in and excavate. And then once we find that kernel of magic, then we can ignite that and become something extraordinary. So that is huge for me. Those are my three favorites. I absolutely love them. When doing the tasks this week, I I did not struggle that much, which is hopefully a good thing. I did my morning pages, and the biggest thing that I had trouble with is I tend to brush different things aside. So one of the tasks was write a letter to the editor in your defense. So basically, anyone that spoke wrongly about you, write and edit something that really goes into defense, that's defending yourself. And because I tend to say, well, the past is in the past, people might say things about me. But then once I started writing, my gosh, I was like, I am writing this letter to this guidance counselor, my middle school guidance counselor, who said that I couldn't take Spanish because I had a really bad score, and I actually had the highest score for English. So I was going back and forth and writing that, and at first I thought, oh, maybe this is too much in the past, but it really felt cathartic. And I felt like it actually healed me because that was something that even subconsciously I was holding on to, that despite me going through my schooling and doing really well in school and then going on and doing things well in academia, I was still holding on to way in the past when someone said something that irked me and stuck to my soul when really it needed to be let go. So that was one of the tasks that I did, and I really enjoyed this week, and I really am looking forward to next week, week two. So I'm going to give a bit of a preview of week two. And week two is all about recovering a sense of identity. And that says this week addresses self definition as a major component of creative recovery. You may find yourself drawing new boundaries and staking out new territories as your personal needs, desires, and interests announce themselves. The essays and tools are aimed at moving you into your personal identity, a self defined you. How great is that? So I am really excited for that. And delving more into my art, I've considered myself a multi hyphenate. I've always been into music and songwriting and writing and anything that really speaks to the soul. And I'm also really, really into languages. I majored in Japanese. I've been trying to teach myself Korean for ages. So that's something that I hope that the more I read this book and take on the lessons and do the morning pages and take myself out on artist dates, that the more I feel it's safe for me to put myself out there. And I really hope that this has been a help for you, and I hope that you can do the same. So let's go ahead and do this together. So this is Aria signing off, and thank you for joining me today. Have a great one.